This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 584 for the week of Sunday, August 25th, 2019. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And on today's show, we have our contributor, Jill Knight, is with us. How's it going, Jill?
Pretty good. Hello, everyone.
We have our anime recap host, Sam Leach, joining us again. He's also a writer for ANN. How's it going, Sam?
It's going. Pretty good.
I'm glad it's going. We also have, joining us for the first time in a while, back from Japan, we have Maddie with us. How's it going, Maddie?
Hey, all right. I miss Japan, though.
It's around the same temperature, I think, in California and Japan, right?
Yeah, actually, it's nicer because it's dry here.
And last but not least, our very special guest this week. We have never had him on the show, despite him being kind of a fixture in the One Piece community, I'd say, for most of us, at least older fans, as we've been talking back and forth here, realizing that we're suddenly aging. You might know him as Ein. He's also known as Ben. How's it going, Ben?
I am good. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Do you want to tell people out there, first off, what you do, what you're currently working on, if you could mention that? I know it's always different.
Wow, that's kind of...
Big open-ended question.
Yeah, well, I am currently a supervising director at Disney Television Animation. I don't make Japanese cartoons, but I do make Western cartoons. Currently on the Big Hero 6, the series, on Disney Channel. Yeah.
Yeah,
and cool. I'm a One Piece fan, obviously.
Yes, and he is a devoted One Piece fan. So, do you want to tell us how you first got into One Piece? We often do this when we have new guests on the show.
I started back in 2002. 2002 was my first foray into One Piece. This was back when I was a freshman in college and I was bored. And back then, there was this P2P sharing thing called DC++. I don't know if you remember it from back then. But it allowed file transfer from universities to universities. And I was just downloading a bunch of manga. And one of them was something called One Piece. So I was like, what is this? And it's got like 5 years worth of it. I started reading. And that was back when some of them were still scanlations that was translated from Chinese. So the liar boo type of stuff, if you remember.
Yes.
Yeah. That awful stuff. So that's when I got hooked. Because I think up back then it was up to either the start of Arabasta or in the middle of it. And that's what got me hooked. And I've been reading it weekly since 2002.
Wow. So yeah, Alabasta's what got you. It's what hooked you in.
Yeah, it's a good one. And back then, AP Forums didn't have AP Forums on the name. It was just a DNS that you had to type in like the numbers.
And I think I'm gonna quote Greg here, in that you, I think, have the art style closest to Oda, at least when you're trying to. And I think he said something like you're most able to capture his essence or something along those lines. And I'm
very flattered by that.
Yeah. I think that's accurate. And to the point where I believe a lot of your art has been mistaken as his, from what I've seen.
There have been.
At least back in the day, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, there have been a few times when just a fan color spread that I made. Because I fell in love with this art just because it's so different. And especially I love the color spreads because there's so much life and story to it. And it's so full of characters instead of just the usual one character posing and looking cool. It was actually the manga that really got me back into drawing, because at that point, I was not into drawing anymore. So I started doing a lot of drawing because of that. And hey, look where I got to now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for One Piece, I would not have my career in art right now. I would. Yeah,
that's amazing.
So, but yeah, I think there was a few incidents where one of the scanlators started using my art as like, oh, this is the new One Piece color spread, and everyone's like, really? Which issue is that? And it's like, it's no issue. It's a fan art. And yeah, yeah, I had a few problems at Artist Alley as well, because like a few times they thought I was just printing color spreads and selling them, and I think it was at Acon in Texas where one of the staff like forced me to draw on the spot to prove that I can draw and not just selling color spreads.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a really great story.
Yeah. That was fun days.
When forced to draw on the spot to prove that it's you, what did you draw?
I
Do you
draw
remember?
Luffy. I draw
Okay.
Luffy. I remember drawing Luffy, and I was just like, really? You're going to make me draw on the spot? All right. And guess what? She took the drawing with her. So that's a free commission right there.
I was gonna say, did she even pay you? You know,
Nope, she did not.
she
I'm gonna
probably didn't
frame
even
this.
work. She probably didn't even work there.
She's like, oh, I gotta go compare this somewhere.
Yeah, sorry, I just have to hang this up on the wanted wall. That's really funny.
That was back
so-
then.
So yeah, you've seen obviously all sorts of history in the One Piece community. How would you describe your general journey since 2002 being a One Piece fan? Because I know you have you went from being a fan to a professional professional in animation. How has One Piece been a companion to you through that entire journey?
One Piece is the only manga that I still read on a weekly basis since then. Like, there's a lot that I started and never caught up. Like One Punch Man, for example, when it first came out, I started reading it, and then after a while, like I just stopped keeping up with it. And One Piece is the only one. It's, I don't know, just the story hooks me. Like every single stupid little thing like makes me laugh or makes me cry. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Speaking of, we have a chapter this week, I think, that does pull at some heartstrings or is about to pull at some heartstrings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure we'll talk more too about it. This week, we're going to go through with Ben, chapter 953, Once a Fox, which is at shonenjump.viz.com and mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. And we're also going to go through some Piece Together. We have an anime episode this week. Sam, what's that for?
That is episode 899, and the title is Defeat is Inevitable, the Straw Man's Fierce Attack.
And I like how you posted.
Episode 900 next week.
If
that's
Twitter
crazy.
arguments for anime.
Yeah, exactly. It's the toy episode title for Twitter. So we have that to go through. That's going to be a lot of fun. A little bit of news at the top. AMC was listing One Piece Stampede in the United States for October 24th, 2019. Obviously, there has been no confirmation, and it has since been taken down from AMC's website. Although, Ed, you were mentioning Strong World is still up there.
Yeah, there have been some listings for that for like late September. Let me see if I can find them, but yeah, those haven't been
Just
taken
buy a
down.
ticket really quickly, unless
Well,
you
they
can.
don't actually have any listings. It's just on the site, so they don't actually have any dates.
Yeah. So who knows? That might be out. That might not be. But clear your calendar for October 24th, regardless. If you're in Milan, Italy, and I know I'm speaking to at least maybe one person out there. On September 21st, 2019, they're doing that music symphony again for the New World soundtrack stuff. I don't know how much detail we have for that yet, but they've done that in Europe before, and I'm not sure if they are also going to have other tour dates or other locations for that, but I believe it's with Kohei Tanaka and crew. So like the original, people. So that's pretty cool if you're out there. And last but not least, if you were in France, Belgium, or Luxembourg, which I'm sure, again, a couple people out there, on September 12th, 2019, there will be showings of Stampede there. So I think that's going to do it for kind of release news there. Why don't we get into the manga?
Okay.
This is the manga recap for chapter 953. Once a Fox? Yeah, that's just it. That's how it goes. You could read this chapter legally for free anywhere in the world. shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. Check it out now. Ed, what's going on in the front page here?
The first page is limited cover series number 24 continues Gang Bitches Oh My Family. Volume 4. Enemy ship seized off to Thriller Bark. So they are they've gotten rid of the Tart ship. Maybe they still have it, I don't know, but they've gotten a better ship. They're gonna sail.
Maybe they ate it.
Emergency supplies.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? But so they're heading to Thriller Bark, even though we know that that's not the last place that Lola actually was. And who even is at Thriller Bark right now is a good question.
Well,
Or better question, where is Thriller Bark?
I know the answer to at least where we last saw it. Thriller Bark was with Blackbeard on what was it called again? It was the Pirate Island. It was like called full of bullets, full of holes or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Full
Full of lead. Full of lead, I think it was.
Full of lead, okay.
Whatever it is. It's Blackbeard's hideaway. And Thriller Bark was outside of there. I actually just read through that chapter recently, and I don't remember why. So that maybe they're going to be heading to Blackbeard's territory. I don't know. How would they even know where it is?
because
The
they're
map
pointing at
looks
the
like it has Florian Triangle on it.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, so that they would head to Water 7 or in that
They have to
direction
go back
if
to
they.
Paradise.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Who
Man,
knows?
this is
Which
This is
chapter was
interesting,
that? I don't remember this.
The Blackbeard one.
Yeah.
That was the one between. Do you remember the two acts with Wano when they like separated them?
Yeah.
That was the chapters, right?
Oh.
It was when we found out Absalom was probably dead.
That was a good
Nice.
chapter.
Yeah, that was great.
Wow, I must have just not paid attention.
You were just very broken up about Absalom being dead.
Said nobody.
My favorite character, obviously.
Everyone's favorite.
this is like a really interesting development because like it implies that we're going to go to Thriller Bark. Like we're not necessarily going to go straight to Lola, but like Thriller Bark is our destination, and that's obviously might connect Capone to Blackbeard and Moria.
It's also
how
on the
did
other
they-
side of the red line. So like,
How do
it's
they know
before
Lola-
Bondi, right?
Yeah, it's right before. Yeah. How do they even know Lola was on Thriller Bark, and then how do they know Thriller Bark was in the
Well-
Florian Triangle? And also, it's a ship. Can't it be anywhere?
Straw Hats could have told
He
Nami
us.
must
said,
have
yeah,
mentioned
Nami
it.
said something like
Mm.
probably too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
'Cause- Yeah, Nami and Chiffon were
Chiffon.
talking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, but where's Baby
yeah.
Pez?
Yeah,
He
where
dropped
is
him off
Baby
the ship.
Pez?
Yeah, that's
She fell.
what
Maddie, your
happened?
fanfic came true here, and Vito dropped Pez and somehow is still employed by Capone and crew. Yeah, and there's Gotti in the back and some other guy. And
Yeah, Lola's gone too though, so maybe
Well, I
they're,
mean,
just,
she's
they're
around.
taking a break.
Yeah. They're hanging off the side, eating the what is the caterer's stuff.
She's just off to the side changing Pez.
Yeah, or that. Yeah. Also, they took this is from the Stereotype Pirates, which are just a bunch of regular old pirates with a regular old Jolly Roger and a regular old black sail. They seem to have no specific character traits to them other than they are pirates.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
He's got like a striped shirt.
Yeah, I guess that's something.
No, that's
And-
very piratey. They're
Any
the pirate
thoughts?
pirates.
Any other thoughts on this first page here?
Yeah, I wonder where, like, this feels like we're trying to connect it to like what Blackbeard and Moria were last up to, but we've already got like so many possibilities for where Blackbeard's going to be heading.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just this feels like an interesting opportunity to like connect some dots. If
Very. Yeah. I mean, I think regardless, it was a good opportunity. And we were all looking forward to the Lolo reunion for the entire Whole Cake Island arc.
Right.
So it's nice that is set up here. Whether or not that actually does pay off, we'll find out. Any other thoughts, or you want to move into the chapter?
Well, it's interesting. I wonder if it's because the story is getting so convoluted. Well, not convoluted, so layered now. There's so many different storylines going on that I wonder if Oda's gonna start actually using the chapter cover stories for actual storylines instead of like an aside. Because it's always been an aside, like, oh, we're checking into Ace and what he was doing. We're checking into this character and what they're doing. I wonder if this is actually going to be like his way of having two big storylines going on, considering what he set up with Blackbeard and Thriller Bark.
Well, also, I mean, this is the story we're gonna have for the next 6 to 10 months. So
at the least, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. It'll be cool. It'll be cool if the cover story actually merges with the actual storyline that we have in the chapter.
It sometimes
Especially
does, yeah. But
it never actually meets though. Like it's always like we see the repercussions.
Well,
I mean,
Jinbei joined like
almost
Jinbei-
simultaneous.
Jinbei had his
Yeah,
adventure,
it's
and
pretty
then
close.
shortly
Almost,
after he shows
yeah.
up.
So we'll just see Jinbei in this one, and then we'll finally see him
Well,
in Wano.
and if this cover ends up being like important to like the story of Wano and like Blackbeard and all that, like that would be a good opportunity.
Yes.
That would be a good thing for the anime to make filler out of, or quote unquote filler.
That's true. That's very true.
That is true. Okay, let's
Have
start
to.
the chapter.
Okay.
Ed. Yeah.
So we start off in the past, and we see Kawamatsu reading Hiyori's letter. It says, "Thank you for everything. I will be fine." And he's tearing up, and he's running across the scenery. It's a beautiful like smokestacks and like the sun of Tatooine kind of thing going on. And he is just weeping and running through the wasteland, crying for the princess, Lady Hiyori, and through the town and through the rain, and sort of abruptly ends the flashback.
I love this first page. And I'll say, reading it on my phone when it's one page at a time, it was actually really good because it was like kind of that like prologue, very separate from everything else until maybe a couple.
It's a very
pages later.
touching scene.
It
You were
is.
touched.
I was touched.
So in the present day in Ringo, Kikimaru is running away, huffing and puffing. Zoro is on his tail. This guy, he says, this guy just doesn't give up, even with his wounds. Or someone else, maybe, Zoro's saying both those things. Anyway, Zoro is lost. He's lost in the snow. Where the heck am I, he says. And as long as I keep following the bloodstains, and he trails off, he's like, huh? And I guess he can't believe what he sees. We don't see it, whatever it is. So we go to the next page.
We turn the page and we are reaching the Bandits Bridge, and Kawamatsu is saying, "We ought to move from here. I cannot believe they are still hunting more remnants. And who was that enormous warrior monk? Do watch your step in the deep snow." And they're kind of trudging forward, and Hiyori's making a big puffy cheek face, like sticking her face out, like, "Excuse me, I'm not a child anymore, Kawamatsu." And then Kawamatsu laughs, "Kappa-papa. Oh, is that so? But a grown-up woman does not puff out her cheeks like a blowfish." And Hiyori's just like, "Oh, you. There are so many things to talk to you about, but why are you here now?" She's asking him. And
Look how
he's just
cute
sort of,
he is in that panel there.
yeah, his
on
little
the-
blushy cheeks.
I've
Yeah.
never seen a kappa drawn that cutely.
It's his little V mouth that really.
Yeah.
This chapter
Great.
made me like.
Usually
design
when you draw a kappa, it's like the
Ugly.
beak. The beak
Oh,
is,
yeah,
is
yeah,
is the main point. Like, so the beak is always emphasized, and this is like, it's so cute that you don't even see the beak line. Like, I am loving. I'm loving Kawamatsu.
Yeah, I
His
love
beak
his
seems
design.
kind of like soft and squishy.
Yeah.
I also love how circular he is. Like I like his whole stout shape. Anyway, continue, Sam.
And Kawamatsu says, "After you vanished on me, I found a foolish reason to come to this place." And he's remembering when he arrived here before, and he was thinking to himself, "If I need to slit my stomach for allowing harm to come to the princess, I choose this location to do it." And he goes on to explain, like its neighboring territory of Hakumai, the northern land of Ringo was overseen by the Shimotsuki clan, famed for their hardiness. The daimyo's name was Shimotsuki Ushimaru, a master of the sword who always traveled with a fox companion. And Hiyori notes that word, fox? What do you mean fox? And we get this little silhouette of this guy hanging out with his fox buddy. And Kawamatsu finishes by saying, "Bakaido saw to it that Ringo did not escape destruction either."
Um,
Go ahead. Chill first.
is it Zoro from Shimotsuki Village?
That's where his dojo was, yes.
So, and also Shimotsuki should also sound familiar, I believe, because that's also where what's his face came from.
Yasu?
Yasue, yeah. I'm sorry, he is also a Shimotsuki. He's Shimotsuki Yasue, daimyo of Hakumai. Right? That's all correct?
That sounds familiar.
That sounds correct.
Might not
yes,
be
that is-
correct,
that
but it
is
sounds
right,
right.
Yeah.
It's as good as right.
Yeah, so I'm assuming Ushimaru is somehow related or working with or for Yasue. It says clan, Shimotsuki clan, so that does not necessarily mean that they're blood relatives. But yeah, that's super interesting. And you are right, Jill, that is also the name of the village that Zoro's from. We discussed that, I remember, with Yasue. Maddie.
So Kawamatsu continues. He goes, "Are you familiar with the custom of Ringo known as eternal graves?" And Hiyori answers, "It is where the land is so cold that it is where the land is so cold that bodies and coffins will remain preserved for centuries." And Kawamatsu says, "Yes, that's right, and that their locations are marked by their katana stuck into the ground." He continues to explain some of these blades naturally are of legendary make, so grave robbers are a constant problem. This is one of the facts of life in Ringo. And then we start a flashback and we hear a yip yip and some guys running going, it's going to kill us. And we see a kind of the side of this fox going grr, yip yip. And Kawamatsu being, can a man not be allowed to die in peace and quiet? And he's like, wait, aren't you? And then we get a full view of this mystical looking fox. And Kawamatsu goes, "Onimaru." And the fox is still gurring and yip yipping. And then we get a little explanation box that says, "This coma fox went by the name of Onimaru. It was the companion to the deceased daimyo of Ringo, Shimotsuki Ushimaru." And Kawamatsu goes, "I have met you once before." And then the fox kind of falls over, and Kawamatsu goes, "Onimaru." And then goes,
It seems
Full
to
of
have some
arrows.
arrows, yeah.
Yeah. It's on fire too. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, the fox is injured. He's got some really great swirly eyebrows going on.
That's what I was wondering. Is the fox actually like a flaming fox, or is the fox just happened to be on fire and he's hurt by the fire?
I think that's just
he's
his
a-
aura.
Yeah.
I think
His-
it's, well,
yeah,
no,
it's
I think
like his
its
tail.
tail is fire shaped. I don't know if it's necessarily fire, but it's like it looks like fire.
Ah.
Yeah, because if you look at the pages to follow, it's always like that. Yeah.
Yeah, when he's lying down, you can see he just has this very swirly, wavy tail.
Also, I
Yeah.
like Ushimaru and Onimaru. Is a fun name there. Ben, go ahead.
All right. So we flip the page. We are on this white shot. Do you mean to tell me you've been guarding all this on your own? We see the half-broken bridge, and there's an exposition. For over 5 years after Ringo's downfall, Onimaru fought the grave robbers all alone. When the people of Ringo are born, they're gifted a katana. They live with their katana and use it as a grave marker when they die. We see a panel of these swords on everyone's graves, which is really, really cool. I love these little lores.
Yeah.
And then we see Kawamatsu bringing some food. Here's something to eat. According to folklore, foxes love fried tofu. Your wounds won't heal unless you eat, and you can't protect your master's grave if you're dead. We see this fox sniffing, and the fox starts eating the fried tofu.
Fried
I have
tofu
never
is
heard of
delicious. No, me
I-
neither.
but that is a cool folklore. I do love
Oh,
fried
it's
tofu.
Inari something, right?
Oh, is that why?
I think so. I think that's what I've read at sushi places.
Interesting.
Sushi places do have the most accurate Japanese folklore.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Fox there. Anyway, yeah. So I'm guessing this is probably the next day or sometime after. The fox wakes up, wanders around, and sees Kawamatsu digging a hole. He's using an axe to dig a hole to the ground, and the fox gets mad because he's taking all the swords. Fox starts yipping, "Don't raise such a fuss! Forgive me, I know." And the fox just keeps barking at him. That's where we end.
Yep. And we go to the next page, and the barking turns into a bite. As Onimaru bites Kawamatsu's hand, and Kawamatsu does not look happy about that. He's like, "Get off! How am I supposed to explain this to a fox? I have no desire to disturb the sleep of the dead either, but 13 years hence there will be another great war, and the day will come when the samurai of the nation stand tall and proud again, and when that happens, we will need a great number of swords." How does a fox not understand that?
Hey, it's a pretty smart fox, okay?
Look, there's nothing you have to prove that he understands language. Anyway, he is still bit down on Kawamatsu's arm here, and he says, "Look, in battle, when your companion dies before your eyes, you take his sword and you continue onward. The soul that resides in a katana is what makes a samurai strong and enables him to destroy his enemies. This is still a battlefield." And you see Onimaru, even I'm so bad with names. Onimaru opens his eyes slightly and is still gurring, and he is not letting go, despite seeming to begin to understand here. And Kawamatsu continues, "The battle between the Animal Kingdom pirates and the land of Wano is not finished yet. It is too early to let these swords sleep. We cannot allow them to be stolen by thieves before the coming day. I will retrieve and hide them before that happens. That is the one mission that I can be allowed to have." So obviously Kawamatsu going through some inner turmoil, having let Hiyori go. Beyond the fact that he was trying to commit seppuku earlier. So yeah, this is.
Well, he had a good reason.
I did want to mention that it's almost like a Whiskey Peak vibe, this area, with all the swords sticking out. It's a crazy cool. I really like the atmosphere. It's very different. Jill,
I like that idea of giving someone like a katana when they were born and they have to carry it until they're.
I'm just
until they
imagining
die.
giving a baby a sword, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's not a great idea.
If I have a kid, I will give them a sword.
You know-
Zoro's future children. We're all a
Yes.
little worried now.
Oh no! Look, I don't think kids should be able to perform their own brisses. That's all I have to say.
God.
Yeah.
You know,
Look,
I really like this sort of like the theming here is fitting with the entire theming of One Piece, which is the passing of the will. You know, the will of D type of stuff that just gets
Mhm.
passed on from generation to generation. Like this follows that theme as well. That when there was the soul that resides in a katana, when your companion dies for your eyes, you take your sword and continues onward because the soul gets the spirit gets passed on in the katana. Like it's amazing to me how he managed to like interweave the same theme into a completely different lore. It's
and
crazy.
I think he does a good job. I mean, not to get too far ahead here, but the stuff at the end of the chapter, I think kind of weaves that together too, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. Jill, yeah, you could keep us going.
All right, and then we have a shot of Kawamatsu crying. He says, "I may have failed to protect Lady Hiyori, but I can at least do this." it goes on to say, if I don't do something, my conscience will destroy me utterly, as Onimaru is still like ravaging his arm. If you're hungry, then tear my arm off and take it away. I will not stop robbing these graves. So he's failed Hiyori, but he still has this. He's still fighting for Wano, and he just gets the shot of him crying as he's still working. And then, much like my cat, we get a shot of Onimaru, releasing the bloody arm and then licking it because that makes everything okay.
This is the cutest freaking scene. I love these two panels specifically. Going from biting and bloodying his arm to licking it to fix it.
It's adorable. Then we get a little shot of Onimaru all bandaged up, kind of watching Kawamatsu rob the graves. He's kind of, I guess, given his blessing. And as we see, the Kawamatsu has gone to sleep. He wakes up to oh god, I almost said it suck. Some shucking noises. As with a change of heart, Onimaru has been digging the graves himself. What kind of change of heart is this? Do you understand what you're doing? Let's dig underground to hide the swords. With a little yip, we go into these cute little 4 panels that are absolutely adorable of the dynamic duo here of Kawamatsu and Onimaru, who are both ransacking graves every day. Another day of ransacking graves ahead.
The graveyard ransacking duo. No, that's not going to work.
Our heroic grave robbing protagonists.
The heroic grave robbers. That's the team name. There you go.
There we go. And we just go through. It's positively freezing today. It's probably that way every day, but I guess they just gotta, stick through it. So hungry. If I could sell 1 or 2 in the capital, as he looks at the swords, and Onimaru is very much against that. And then the last panel is like, look, I borrowed some food.
I feel like there's a very specific intent in the use of borrowed.
Yeah, that's good on Steven's
put it on his treasure tab there, I guess.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
When I'm done with it.
Can you vomit this up after so I can give it back? Go ahead.
I do wonder though, the borrowed some food, if that has something to do with he doesn't want to admit that he stole some things to the fox, or if he actually managed to sell some of the katana and doesn't want the fox to know.
No, I think they're foreshadowing what happens. I think it's the next page. Yeah, at the end of what is that, page 14? I think. Anyway, go ahead, Ed.
Okay, so we pass some time and he's chasing some real grave robbers over the bridge of Ringo, and they're like, "Who is that guy?" Me? Well, I'm Yukimoru of Bandits Bridge. The fox loves this shit.
Well read, Ed.
Yeah. Yep. Beyond this bridge lies Ringo's heart. You cannot have these graves. Drop those weapons. They are not yours. And after some time doing that, I went to the capital for one of my trips to acquire food, and found myself unable to return for certain reasons. Yukimaru. Is that a coincidence? How strange. Caught you at last, fried tofu thief. I was sloppy. Yeah, he's having a whole, I don't know. It's a little slapstick, actually. But so, that's Kiku, right? Yeah. Kiku says, so you came here to see that fox.
Is that Hiyori?
No,
Hiyori, right. God damn it.
You're mixing up all the female characters.
It doesn't get easier.
Oda has one way of drawing a pretty woman, and they all look kind of like Robin with different noses.
Well, especially Hiyori.
Yeah.
We've discussed this before. Okiku does look a little different.
It's where was I? Okay, so Hiyori says, so you came here to see that fox. And Kawamatsu says, I'm sure that Onimaru grew disillusioned with me after I did not return. It's been 13 years. I cannot imagine I would see him here. Hopefully, if all the swords we hid together still remain, we can arm a few hundred warriors. And Kawamatsu reaches out. He says, "Oh, Zorojuro," and Zoro responds, "The big guy just vanished, but he left this door open, and like a double rainbow. What does it mean?" Should I chase him or go in? And Kawamatsu's a little puzzled, but he says, "Oh, this is the passage to the underground." And it's not clear what that means. We go to the next page.
I just realized. Sorry, Sam, but didn't Zoro say, "Oh yeah, if as long as I keep following the bloodstains"? It's amazing Zoro is not back in the flower capital or something right now.
That's true. Yeah,
He's good at blood.
he can follow a trail. It's when there's no trail that he gets lost.
Zoro.
I think that line's there to explain that. It's like, if I keep following this, I won't get lost.
No, but he got lost while sitting on that dog thing at the beginning of the arc and somehow disappeared. By the
He
way,
was also lost at the very beginning of the chapter.
the name of Zoro's biopic, Zoro, good at blood.
Zoro, where is he now?
Also possible. Sam, if you could finish this off.
If there was like an Animal House like type ending, like Zoro, where is he now? We don't know. We couldn't find him.
Senator Zoro.
Oh my god. Sorry, I'm just
Kawamatsu
Zoro.
he's answering the snail phone with a little click, and Kawamatsu saying, "Is that you, Kinemon?" And Kinemon responds, "Kawamatsu, I'm so glad you're alive. After Udon, we have a large influx of manpower, but perhaps not enough weapons to arm them, I suspect." That's Kawamatsu asking Kinemon. And Kinemon says, "Yes, that's very true. Very astute of you. It's a problem," as we learned last week. Orochi's confiscated all the weapons in the nation in the last 20 years. And got Kawamatsu, he's just sort of chilling on the ground. He's looking around his surroundings. He's like, "Well, you can relax now. We can recruit thousands of soldiers with enough katana for every last one of them." And Kinemon's like, "Is that true? Send some men according to the following directions." "But why are there so many now? Was it Onimaru? No. This had to be human work," referring to just like the bajillion swords and spears and stuff that they're in this little hideout. And we've got a panel of Yukimaru's feet. He's just like stomping around in the snow. He's
There's
puffing
blood
and
in the
puffing.
snow.
Yeah. Did this wound happen?
Yeah,
Where
this
did
was
this
last
one-
chapter.
Did Zoro do it?
No. It was those like random
they
schmucks
shot it.
from the Animal Kingdom pirates. Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah. Kaido's. Yeah.
And so yeah, he's kind of sneaking around a corner. He's huffing and puffing. He's trying not to be seen. He's like hugging something, or he's like holding his wound. And with a poof, some smoke appears, and he turns into a little fox, a very familiar little fox. And the fox kind of scampers off, still bleeding, but like whistling a little tune, I guess.
I'm not sure what the musical note indicates there, but it's cute.
And
Hope he
we
doesn't
return to Hiyori and Zorojuro. Zorojuro, if your sword truly is the legendary Shusui, please return it to Wano. And Zoro's like, "Hey, I told you it's mine." And not missing a beat, Hiyori, just being all cool and dramatic, is like, "I will give you another in return. The katana I received from my late father. The sword is called Enma. It is a legendary katana. The only one to have ever wounded Kaido." Ba-bang.
Bang. Always fun to end a chapter like that. Okay, that's gonna do it for 953. Let's go around thoughts on this chapter. Maddie, I'll start with you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it was just the whole story of Onimaru was, I thought, really interesting and cute and fun. It's a really short flashback, but it's still able to give a lot of emotion, and I thought that was really nice. Man, I knew I had something else to say, but I totally forgot what it was.
We could always come back. It's not like you disappear after you.
I just vanished. I think. Oh, it was the part about people passing on their katanas I thought that was a really kind of nice note because of also just how much it relates to Zoro's story with Kuina and Wado.
Yeah, that's right.
So, obviously this, Wano has been, it's, like kind of Zoro's whole theme. So it suits him, and to start having these kind of connections between him and the country that we're starting to see, as well as we mentioned before with Shimotsuki. So yeah, and just in general, it was a nice chapter. I love Onimaru, and yeah,
Cool.
that's it.
Okay. Ben.
I'm just fascinated that Oda again manages to find a new story, start it and end it in one chapter, and it's about this fox in the middle of like the multiple storylines that he's managed to have in this whole arc. And this one just really gets me. Like I was reading this today and I just tweeted this. Like I love the idea of like the trope of having someone continue your work after you disappear because they're so convinced that you'll be back, or that at least like your work must be finished even if you don't come back, and like just waiting and waiting and waiting for you and just never lose faith. And that's just, this stuff gets me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Any other thoughts on the chapter?
I'm curious why the fox doesn't just turn back into Gyukimaru doesn't just turn back into the fox though. Like what does he feel the need to hide himself from Kawamatsu?
Yeah, there must be a reason, I guess. Yeah. Jill, what were your thoughts on this chapter?
I'm always really impressed at Oda's world building, and he's been going all in on Wano. We've been getting these side stories that, even if they're just one chapter, they hit really hard. This one reminded me a lot of Chow Chow or Chushu back in the Buggy arc of an animal companion that even when its owner has passed away, it's sticking around to protect what is important.
Is that also based off of the Hachan the Shibuya?
You mean Hachiko?
Hachiko, sorry. I was thinking of the octopus, obviously.
The poor Hachan waited.
Now I'm just thinking of Hachan just waiting for his owner at the Shibuya train station. An octopus doesn't need an owner. No, but it's there. I guess Oda drew some stuff from that, but yeah. Go ahead, Jill. Sorry. I completely derailed that.
Thanks, Zach. It's always, I mean, animal companions, they always hit with the audience. And I found the fact that he could turn into a person really interesting. I didn't expect Oda to go with another magical fox after we've had Katarina Devon's fruit revealed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm really interested to see if this is a fox that ate a fruit, a man that ate a fruit.
Foxes shape shifting is extremely common.
I know that.
I was
part.
about to ask.
Yeah,
I know that it's like
maybe it's just
common
a
in
magical
mythology.
fox. Yeah, maybe.
I guess
Do we need
it'll
a
just
reason?
be interesting. Yeah, I mean,
at least, yeah.
Kawamatsu was. I enjoyed seeing more of his backstory. I thought that was well. I don't trust Hiyori. I haven't been on the podcast recently. I don't know. There's something about her. I think she's been playing an act pretty much this whole time. Especially how she acts like a child so much next to Kawamatsu every time she sees him. I don't know. I mean, that's just for the future. But I enjoyed this chapter. It's a good little contained story, and I'm excited we now know where our swords are coming from.
Yeah. Well, Sam.
Yeah, I thought this was a beautiful chapter. This is like what I was really hoping to see quite a bit of in Wano, which are these like stories within stories. They're very folklore-y type narratives, and I think that Onimaru, Gyukimaru, they they read to me like a ghost. Like maybe they are dead, and like his his ability to like protect the swords and stuff is
I don't know. He's just sort of walking off,
sense.
walking off into the forest at the end there. It'd be
But then,
interesting.
like, why would he have to hide from Kawamatsu? That's my question. Like,
It's interesting that he's whistling, or he's like he's singing a song or something too.
Yeah, and the Shusui business. I think Zoro's swords they're kind of in that camp of like adding a straw hat to the crew, or like seeing the warlords lineup kind of change as the story goes. Like we haven't had anything kind of grounding us like those things where here's like this status quo that can be kind of changed and altered as the story needs it to. So like it doesn't surprise me that like we'll be having, Zoro's gonna be saying goodbye to one sword and saying hello to a new one.
There's got to be a reason for him to want a new sword. Like
and what was Enma again in Japanese? We discussed this because
no, it's
Koenma,
King Yema. Koenma, he's the god of sending you to the afterlife.
Yeah, the god of hell. He's like the Anubis of Japan.
I watched Yu Yu Hakusho.
But also,
Me too, me
Enma
too.
was also just a couple chapters ago. That place that Zoro and Hyori were hanging out was called like the Enma Shrine or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I forgot we just talked
interesting to me because Zoro's never been he's never been like, oh, I need better swords.
Right.
And he was given to it by basically the soul of Ryuma, or not soul, but the body of Ryuma.
He's always satisfied with his status quo swords, Zoro.
Right.
Like one got rusted by that guy that no one knows the name of anymore.
Shu.
Very good. No, it was Shu. Very good was the berries or something. Anyway. So one got rusted and then this one got stolen. So
I mean, what I think must happen is Zoro has to learn why it is that Wano needs Shusui. Like why is Hiyori making this proposition? And if he feels connected enough to Wano, I think that might be a thing he might be willing to give them.
And Yasuie too, maybe.
Yeah.
Does Zoro know anything about Ryuma's relationship with Wano? Like,
he knows that Ryuma's from Wano.
That's all he knows. Yeah, I don't think he knows.
But he doesn't know like what importance Ryuma is.
Right, and neither do we right now.
Yeah.
Which I assume Hyori's going to tell us probably in the next chapter or two. Yeah. And if I don't know, if Zoro agrees, like, yeah, you know what, maybe Wano should have the sword. I can deal with learning a new sword.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's where we're headed, since that's kind of what the setup is there at the end. I mean, it's somewhat telegraphed, but I don't think it's a bad thing that it is.
Yeah, and Hyori knows the deal that she's offering him. She knows she has to give him something pretty good if he's gonna let go of it. Yeah.
And it's basically her sword she's giving. It's her father's sword.
Oh, that's also another interest. Like on the question of like what is Hyori's deal, because there's definitely some blank. There definitely some like missing pieces of information that feel like they should have been addressed by now. Like why is Komurasaki and Hyori? Why do they seem like they're so drastically different people?
There's a lot of suspicious shit going on. I don't know. Yeah.
And Hyori. Like we know Momonosuke is her brother, but suspiciously she's never like referred to her father as Oden.
And also, why is she so I guess Zoro saved her life. I'm like, why is she so trusting with Zoro generally here? But I think at this point, I guess he's proven himself.
Right. And
yeah.
I think ultimately she'll prove to be a good guy, but I definitely think she and Kyoshiro have they're a third party in this whole story, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely more there. Jill, I don't subscribe quite to your
she reminds me of Viola. Yeah. I mean we're missing the period of time where she's been away from Kawamatsu, and when we've seen her as Komurasaki. I wouldn't be surprised if someone had found out who she was. worked with her that way. I don't know if she's going all in on their plan to save Wano yet, but I don't know. It's hard to say where she's going. We don't have much yet.
She definitely has a big question mark over her head. Yeah. Ed, any thoughts on the chapter?
I really enjoyed it. I like the story of the loyal animal always tugs at the heartstrings, and Oda, of course, knocks it out of the park, I think. And Kawamatsu is really growing on me as a character. He's sort of dramatic. He's sort of he goes all out. He's very sensitive as well, I think, and caring. I don't know. The deal with the swords, on the other hand, is like, as I was saying, Zoro's going to have like a reason to want a new sword. Like, there's going to be something, I don't know, involving like, I think there's going to be something involving like Quina, or involving his master, or there's a connection there. And they're just sort of hinting at it right now. They're all these like the name of his village and the name of this nobleman here, and I don't know. They're sort of leaving breadcrumbs at this point, but they haven't addressed it directly, and I want to see where that's going. So
yeah. I mean, I'll put it the way Ed always puts it. We focused on one story here, and I think that makes it a really good chapter. This chapter felt long in the best of ways. Like, this felt like a self-contained story, which we don't often get with One Piece. Just because of the nature of it being a Shonen Jump comic that publishes weekly and is this super sprawling epic. So that was, I really enjoyed that. I also think, in the same line as the Futurama episode Jurassic Park, which I know is a takeoff of the Hachiko thing too, and the Shushu thing. Like these kind of things always kill me emotionally. Anytime there's a dog or dog-like creature who's super loyal to someone else. There's that being said, there is more to tell in this story, obviously, even though it's somewhat self-contained here. There's obviously more. We kind of talked about the fact that he kind of just wanders critically injured into the forest. So I'm curious where that's gonna go, and hopefully they don't kill the dog. Although I wouldn't put that beyond Oda. I
don't think he would do that. I don't.
Probably not.
Oda's been killing people though. Like, he might.
Yeah, people, not dogs. It's just,
he's not a monster.
I mean, fine. He'll be Yukimaru when he gets killed. Like, there we go.
Yeah, that's fine. Yukimaru isn't as cute. I'm just gonna say. As Onimaru. The Yukimaru Onimaru. Did you guys? I'll ask you this. How soon did you? First off, did you figure out before the reveal that they were the same? I'm assuming yes, because they mentioned Yukimaru.
Yeah, it would have seemed weird if they were just completely unrelated.
Yeah.
Although you look at Yukimaru and you do not think, oh, that's a guy who turns into a fox, a little skinny.
Well, when you see the eyebrows on the fox, you can kind of see it. They get the same like facial sort of design.
Well, it goes into the mustache.
Swirly marks.
Oh no, I see. It's the eyebrows too. Yeah. I wouldn't have gotten it from that though. I mean, it definitely like somewhere through I was like, oh shit, that's him, because the whole time I'm trying to think, how does Yukimaru know Kawamatsu? But Kawamatsu, before even like the bulk of the flashback, it's like, who is that guy? So I thought that was a pretty interesting.
I think it also helps because we were just recently introduced to the nine-tailed fox devil fruit. That you're kind of not expecting. You wouldn't expect him to have like a fox devil fruit or something. Yeah,
but at the same time, just because it was a predictable, reveal, I don't think hurt the story. There's so many connections in like the little minutia here that are so interesting, with the Shimotsuki clan, for example, that I'm sure Oda is going to expound upon when we finally get that Odin flashback. I also found it hilarious that Kawamatsu was in jail for the last 13 years because he stole fried tofu. It seems, right?
That was a pretext. I assume they were looking for him.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
I mean, they probably rested and were like, "Oh wait, this is Kawamatsu."
Yeah, maybe. But also fried tofu. Who steals fried tofu? No one does that. Yeah, and I want to echo what Ben said. The carrying on the will thing, which has been a theme in One Piece from the very beginning, with the straw hat. Now that I think about it, Shanks and Luffy. It's such a cool thing to see here, and also implanting that idea with every single sword that's in that room that Kawamatsu's sitting in is super cool, and to have it used for such an important battle, super cool, and to have Zoro carrying on the will of Odin potentially is also super cool, and it also wounded Kaido. Why? How? That's all. That's that's out there. Any final thoughts? Ben?
Sorry, I think my internet just cut off.
No, it's okay.
I just came back.
Okay. Did you have any final thoughts, Ben?
Final thoughts. Not really. I'm excited for the next one to see where this is going.
Me too.
Yeah.
Right.
My internet cut off right in the middle of you guys talking about Hiyori and who's that courtesan again? What's her name?
Oh, Komurasaki.
Komurasaki. Is there a relationship between the two? Is it just me, or do they look very similar?
I mean, they're the same person right now. It's just weird that they don't act like the same person, but
yeah, Komurasaki was the one that got killed, right?
And then mysteriously Hiyori appeared. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I don't get that part. Did she actually die?
We don't get that either. I don't think.
Okay, so it's not just me who's confused.
Well, there's some obviously missing pieces. Although the story is clearly expecting us to believe that Komurasaki fake died, and then Hiyori is the real person,
and that maybe Kyoshiro is involved in some way since he's the one who killed her.
Right.
Yeah, he and I think he and her are they've got a partnership.
Yeah.
I don't think they're an item necessarily, but.
Yeah, there are definitely some parts here that I felt like, am I supposed to have figured this out, or am I just dumb?
Welcome to Wano. Welcome to Wano.
What's their celebrity couple name? Ziori?
Oh my god. Anyway, that's gonna do it for the manga recap. Let's move into the next segment.
Zoro.
This is the anime recap for episode 898. Defeat is inevitable, the Straw Man's fierce attack. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have Ed.
That's almost right. It's episode 899, man.
I said 899, didn't I?
I said 898.
Did I?
Yeah.
Jill, tiebreak us.
I don't know. I wasn't listening to the number. I'm sorry.
Anyway, it is 899, and we also have Jill with us today, of course.
Hello, everyone.
The title card this week begins at 3 minutes and 31 seconds, and as we resume the episode, the Straw Man is still chasing Luffy and Zoro and Tama as they're riding on Komachio, the dog. The Straw Man is pursuing them because last week Hawkins drew the Hierophant reversed, and Zoro's doing most of the defense with his sword. It's just kind of a cool backhand block thing. My next couple of notes are just 1 gorilla, 2 gorilla, red gorilla, blue gorilla.
I mean, he
accurate.
fights this thing for half of the episode, and it's pretty cool looking.
And then my next note, and then my next note is just Zoro does some sick flips.
I really liked that the one scene where it was half Hawkins' face and half of the straw man. I thought that was done really well. That one shot.
So yeah, as Ed said, most of the episode, or the first half of the episode, is mostly Zoro versus the Straw Man, and there's kind of a lot of it's a little repetitive. It's not too bad compared to last week. And the big kind of climactic attack is the tower climb ripple. That's the craziest, wildest, most animated part of the episode, where Zoro is slicing the straw man in two, and it's like it looks rad.
He's like slicing it all over the place too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was cool. I like the slowly like panicking look on Hawkins' men as they get cut down one by one. It's just the one dude left. He's like, "Hey, we want to back off on this."
Yeah,
Boss, you're running out of guys. You got no more lives, man.
I always feel weird about that gorilla attack that Zoro does, where his biceps, like just like the one section of his arms, are just like massive and lumpy.
Bigger is strong is beautiful.
So they're getting away, and Hierophant, Hawkins draws another card. I think this is instead of a reverse Hierophant, it's just like a straight, proper Hierophant, and that is the card of help, implying that somebody is going to help the Straw Hats in a moment. And we get a little cutaway to the woman we will know as Tsuru, who's hiding in Komachio's tail. She's kind of smiling to herself, just kind of letting the audience know that, oh, she's the person who's going to help them.
It's a little weird that she was hiding in the tail all that time.
Yeah,
it seems difficult.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tough. That he was running real hard. Plus, like they were having a full-on battle on the back of this dog. Like, all right.
That brings us to the eye catch of the episode, and when we come back, Zoro he's pulling some nails out of his arm because the Hawkins and his straw men they're using a lot of like gross, rusty nails.
He was shooting nails at him for a long time. He deflected a lot of them.
There's a lot of nails.
Komachio arrives at a fork in the road, and he doesn't know if he should go left or right. And Luffy and Zoro are momentarily debating, you know what, let's just go right. But then that's when Tsuru speaks up.
Yeah, as soon as Zoro said go right, I think Luffy should have been like, all right, so we're going left. Like, we have a pretty good indicator here of the right way to go.
I didn't really think about that. I mean, obviously, Luffy's not a lot better than Zoro.
Yeah, but he knows about Zoro's directional problems.
So Tsuru is saying they should be going left. And this is Tsuru, a tea house owner. And she's asking to kind of help Tama out. She's like, hey, can I take this girl into my care? I know who she is. And Luffy and Zoro decide, well, I guess we got to trust this woman. And so they continue down the path. We head forward to the little village that they're on their way to. And this is when we meet Okiku, the tea house waitress, who has given a man some dango on a stick. And that's when Urashima...
It looks like the food is sort of a mush. Well, I guess it's a dumpling of some kind, but it doesn't look very fancy.
Can we tell how tall she is before Urashima shows up?
Urashima's very large himself.
Yeah,
it's hard to say when you compare her to the buildings, and the guy was sitting down.
Yeah,
so they did a good job trying to make that a little more vague.
There are definitely a few shots that are pretty clear, like, oh, this woman's really tall. But so we got Urashima, who turns out pink hair. Who would have thought? Related to Big Mom.
You gotta have pink hair.
Yeah, it's Bonnie's brother.
Yeah, so he's the number one sumo wrestler in all of Wano, and he is very into Okiku. He thinks she's a cutie pie, and he's trying to get her to go with him. He's saying like, "Oh, don't if you lived with me, you would live rich, and you could have food from the farm, and you wouldn't have to live off of other people's leftovers." But Okiku is just telling him, "No, sorry, our social standing is different."
He gets. I like how he gets intimidated by Zoro. That's it's perfect.
Yeah, when the group shows up, and Kiku just goes straight with Tsuru. She's completely done with Urashima at this point, and it's Zoro who's like walking up behind Urashima and being, "Hey, your fat ass is in the way." Is his quote. And then he gets intimidated by Zoro. Zoro gives him a death glare, and kind of taking this as a hint to get going, gets like one last call for Okiku and like, "Hey, I've got a show in Bakura Town. I want you to see me." Mm-hmm. And you got like Luffy's grinding up some herbs, I think, for Tama. And this brings us to the Heart Pirates, who are Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin, who are kind of hanging out over the cliff, and they're got their binoculars, and they're like, "Oh, the Straw Hats have arrived." should we go tell should we go tell him? Implying Trafalgar Law, and we get a very brief glimpse of Law. He's chilling out. He's sleeping. He's got his sword next to him. There's a cool shot of his sword.
You skipped over the part where Beppo wants to like go into town, but like you'll get recognized. Come on.
Well, it's so funny to me. They're all wearing the Heart Pirates logo all over their outfits. Like, yes, Beppo probably blends in with half the gifters in town, and here are these guys wearing their logo. Super subtle, all of them. And this is probably the chillest Law will ever be in the series. I think this is the most relaxed. It's just downhill from here.
He's at his most relaxed when he's unconscious.
There we go.
And then the last thing of the episode is like a little filler tease for Kaido. We get a shot of Onigashima Island, and like the lightning's going down, and Kaido's just like chilling with his chin in his fist, and he's got a little tiny sake cup. He's just kind of sitting there pouting, and the narrator's talking him up like, "This is Kaido, one of the 4 emperors of the sea, the strongest creature in the world. But for now, he's just sitting around and biding his time."
Again, like last week, this was better than last week's episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, slow pace, but good action with Zoro, I think, to make up for it. So maybe I'm biased.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't mind that it was like the action was kind of repetitive and slow because it looked really good. It wasn't. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, the action is really good this week, and it's only the first half of the episode that's like very action packed, as opposed to last week where they had to stretch the action out over the whole episode. And
this one covered like a chapter of manga material at the most.
I think this episode and the episode before are 1 chapter in the manga.
Yeah, I just reread it. I think you're right.
Yeah. The Wano anime has made me realize how much is packed into each chapter. Because like at the time when the manga's coming out, you're just thinking like, okay, I just want to see this certain story point happen, or I want to see this thing happen, and so like the story can feel like it's kind of slow sometimes, even in the manga. But then when the anime pieces it out like this, it's like, wow, there's like 3 million episodes worth of stuff in like 1 chapter. But yeah, the second half of this episode has a lot more going for it in terms of we meet Tsuru. More importantly, we meet Kiku. We get the little Heart Pirates tease, and we get. I really liked the Kaido tease, even though it's like completely pointless.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to see Kaido. Like,
Yeah, it was
he's not
okay.
doing much.
I like to see him like hang out. Like all too soon, all this will come crumbling around you. But for now, just drink your booze. It's fine.
They did a very good job making him feel like a big mythical awesome figure.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts on the episode before we move on, you guys?
No. I mean, not much to talk about this week.
All right.
Yeah,
I think
it looked good. It was fine.
we move on to the next segment then.
All right.
All right.
楽しむのさ Golden Shine 何もかも忘れてたら楽しむのさ
Where in the world is the Piece Together segment, where we take your questions, comments, and theories. Ed, it's time. First segment is
This piece.
And on this first part of Piece Together, we take your Discord questions, comments, and theories for our Patreon listeners and subscribers. So what do we got this week, Sam?
This week, our first disc piece comes from OG-san. Hey, OPP, what a great chapter. Do you think that Onimaru is the mythical species of fox that Katarina Devon's shape-shifting devil fruit is based on? After all, animals and their corresponding devil fruits exist, so why can't it be the same? Why can't it be the same for mythical zones too? Also, do you think Odin was able to cut Kaido because he's just that strong, or because he knew the poneglyph carving? Because he knew the poneglyph carving Kozuki skill.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I didn't even think about that.
Can you say that one more time?
I
I was reading about foxes.
He was the Kozuki clan. He could carve poneglyphs. So that has to do with how good his sword is.
Oh.
Yeah, so does the ability to carve poneglyphs equal being able to cut up Kaido?
Maybe Kaido has the poneglyph fruit. And he was a dragon who ate the poneglyph fruit. I got it. That's what it is. Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that's a good theory. Sure. I'm reading about kitsune, with the Japanese foxes from folklore, and the picture that comes up on Wikipedia of that fox looks exactly like Onimaru. So I think there are different types of mythical foxes.
Right. Because Katarina Devon is specifically the nine-tailed fox.
Yes. She is
She's got Naruto fruit.
She's the Naruto fruit, right. She after Naruto had Boruto and passed away much later on, he goes to the One Piece world and becomes Katarina Devon. That's how
I've read this fanfic.
Wow, I just made a fanfic. Yeah, no, so I think it's probably a separate thing. Yeah, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I really like that poneglyph theory. That not
The
that
one I just came up with?
Kaido is a poneglyph, but that it's like a special technique. Maybe allows it to cut something that's super hard.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm imagining it's going to be like some sort of like cool beam slash type thing that they were using to like very delicately carve the poneglyphs or something.
A laser cutting.
Our next
T-bone.
Yeah.
Our next piece comes.
I have to read this whole Kitsune Wikipedia article at some point because there's a lot about foxes and folklore in Japan. Again, we need to get someone who's like an expert at this on this podcast at some point. Anyway, go ahead, Sam.
Our next disc piece comes from our good friend Joe, who says, I've had something on my mind for a while ever since Grant read Luffy's flashback. Sabo has become insanely prevalent in merch and various One Piece media like in Stampede, and I wonder what effect this will have on new fans possibly already knowing that Sabo is still alive. I remember when that chapter was still new and what a shock it was to a lot of people. I don't really have a point to make. It's just something I think about watching new fans reading, and it's something I worry about with Grant, and I just wanted to share my ponderings. Yeah, I assume it just, after a certain point, it's just like, how many people don't know that Darth Vader is Luke's father?
Or that Trunks is Vegeta's son, yeah.
Well, even with merch, unless they know his name, they might not know who Sabo is. It doesn't look, his picture isn't in the manga until the flashback. Yeah. So they might see this picture of this kid, like this guy with a top hat, but they're not going to connect it till they get to the flashback.
I mean, also, I don't know about you guys, but I think we all assumed he was alive and would meet Luffy again.
I had some of this before he was dead. We had like a fucking 3-year fight about how he
and who won that fight? Jill.
I won it. And the moment that chapter came out, I hadn't spoken to a year. I sent him a tweet. I was like, that's right.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a situation where, like, I assume Grant kind of sort of knows that Sabo's coming. Like, he's seen adult Sabo around on the internet.
Look, there's some things that are going to get spoiled for you. The when you read that at his pace, I was going to say that slowly. When you read at his pace, and you interact with the One Piece community so readily, it's gonna happen. He saw the post time skip designs, I'm sure, before he read it.
Right.
'Cause, I mean, they're everywhere, and that's like the anyway. And if he follows us on Twitter, he's
He's seen some shit.
He's seen some shit, some real shit. Sam.
Our next disc piece comes from Straw Hat Pirate 9, who's saying, I'm really loving what the anime team is doing. Not only was this new episode a love letter to Zoro's impressive buff bod, but I personally enjoyed the little add-on of Luffy helping mix the herbs that will make Tama get better. Super cute. Best big bro. Side note, I'm going to enjoy hearing you guys read I'm going to enjoy hearing you guys read impressive buff bod, lol. Which is what I
They
just
made
did.
you say it twice, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Impressive buff bod. That is kind of a tongue twister because you want to say butt bod, but that's not what that is.
Zoro's got some meaty abs.
Yeah, I thought that question was going, but Luffy's abs. That was the next.
We'll get
part.
all
He's
that.
got abs
that
too.
fan service soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had a whole episode named after that. What was
And just-
what was it called again? No, Beefy D Luffy, right? That's what we called it.
Yeah, and just 2 episodes ago when Luffy's changing into his samurai kimono, it's like a very there's a
I
very
saw that,
egregious
yeah.
shot of like Luffy getting undressed. It's like, oh man, look how great he looks.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
did
when we get
Luffy
the
become
prison
that?
scene, there we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
That sounds like a whole other thing.
And then our final disc piece this week comes from Stella, who says, I can't wait to see Capone and Chiffon get to Thriller Bark, only for Lolo to be long gone.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how that is gonna. This is a super interesting side story so far.
Yeah.
We discussed it for a while, so obviously there's a lot there. Let's go on to emails. This one comes from Jacob, and he says, "Exciting times to be a One Piece fan. As the Wano arc has been sailing forward, discussion has been brewing about just how long it might be, as well as how many acts. So, as a productive time waster, which we on the One Piece podcast love, I took the time to speed read through the arc, keeping notes on what unresolved plot threads we still have to unravel."
Oh, man.
All right. Okay.
So here we go. I like this one a lot. Here we go. The reveal of several characters like Denjiro, the rest of the Tobiropo.
Oh my god, we still don't know where Denjiro is.
Ushimitsu. Wow, we've already broken Sam, and I've literally just started this list.
Why is there so much going on in this arc?
Okay, you got to let me get through the first one out of these like 15 if we're gonna do this. All right, the reveal of several characters like Denjiro, the rest of the Tobiropo, Ushimitsu Kozo, and the 5th Yakuza boss. The return of Jinbei, that is, no one said that was coming to this. As much as we want to, that's assumed. The return of Jinbei, Cat Viper, Apu, and Big Mom's crew. That's true.
Yeah,
we don't have
Apu.
the rest of them. Yeah, Apu is one that's open. Shuswee's and Nidai Katetsu's purpose. Oh, that's the Katetsu 1, right?
that's 2.
Kitetsu 2.
Odin and Wano's backstory, Kaido and Orochi's relation, God of the Blade. What was that again? I'm trying to even
Last
remember
week?
what.
Yukimaru
Oh, yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
it last week.
Yeah. A mink trader. I don't remember that at all. Do you guys?
Well, we know. I don't know. Does it have to be a mink? Somebody like spilled
Oh
the
yeah.
beans
Yeah.
about like the Kozuki tattoo and stuff.
Yeah.
I had a
Um,
theory.
How did Jack get to Zoe in the first place? I can't remember.
Right. I think that's part of it. Like somebody
Yeah.
would have had to lead Jack to them.
Yeah, there's probably something going on there. It seems like Kaido's crew knows more than they're letting on. Although sometimes less. Big Mom and Kid as wild card characters. That's not really that's just them.
feel like
Rocks. Yeah, we're already there.
We're on top of those subplots right now.
Yeah. The Rocks Pirates, maybe a flashback for that. It's Big Mom and Kaido, that whole thing. The 2 poneglyphs, that's true. Hitetsu is awaiting somebody. King's race. Oh yeah, okay. I thought he was like in a race, but no, and species or race. Any information from Otoko about the lost century? Otoki. Otoki. Yeah, Toki.
Toki.
I was about to say, what does Otoko know about the law?
Yeah, I read it as Otoko, even though Jake wrote Otoki. Otama finding out about Ace and Luffy's brotherhood. Yeah, who knows if that's going to happen. Soba mask redesign. Sorry, that made me snort slightly. Swords becoming black blades. Shimotsuki Ushimaru from this chapter. And will Batman defeat Doflamingo? With all this and more, Wano might turn out to be the longest arc in One Piece thus far. This time, most likely with better pacing. I assume they mean than Dressrosa. You're all doing tremendous work, and we love you. Thank you. We are Maji, he said.
Like 200 episodes in the anime.
Yeah, that's... When you list it all out like that, eep.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like the Tobiropo, that can easily get pushed to like when the final battle's starting and we need to pair characters up into fights. They'd be like, we can just start busting out random Tobiropo people.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, we kind of went through those as we got them.
And
so.
Hiyori's whole deal is another big mystery, I think.
There are a lot more even beyond that, I think. Yeah, the Hiyori we mentioned this week. Odin's
Act 2
flashback.
has been...
Yeah.
Act 2 has been so long.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the way that these act structures are in Kabuki plays is 2 and 3,
Right.
I think, are much longer than 1 and 4. How many are there supposed to be? 4, 5, 6? I don't know.
I think it ranges from like 4 to 5. I feel like I was thinking it's got to be like 5, but it's just been going on for so long now.
Might be there for a lot longer. You know how Oda is. He's like, oh, it'll be 5 years and One Piece will be over. And here we are 22 years later. Next question comes from Myra. And she says, hi, One Piece podcast. I have a question for you other than a fish, Zoan. What would the most useless devil fruit be that you could possibly have? It could be canon, non-canon, or you could make up your own. And you can't say the jacket fruit because that's way too obvious.
Seawater Logia?
Right.
Would you just be allergic to yourself? Like, I don't really know.
A guy who turns himself into balls is pretty useless.
Hey, he makes it work.
I mean, I guess.
I don't even know if that could be said. The jacket fruit.
It's horrifying.
It is really a bad fruit. Both bad and like good in how it's creative, but it's really insane. I should say it's bad for the jacket wearer, but for the wearee, it's pretty good. I'm trying to think of what the most useless fruit we've seen in One Piece so far. Or if you're making one up, it's one that performs just one very specific task and nothing else. Like a Keurig maker fruit, or like something super hyper specific. I feel like that's. While you guys think of more, Myra also asks, as it would seem we're nearing the end of Act 2, which shrug, I don't know. What do you think we're going to see in the following intermission? So we talked about this week the Blackbeard and Moria stuff that we saw in the last intermission.
Let's say Weevil.
Let's say Mo.
I think the next one has to be the fallout of the Reverie.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Oda was teasing that at like Jump Festa or something, right? Like, oh, this year you're going to see what happened to the Reverie.
I think he did, yeah.
And we're still waiting on that.
God, is it really the end of August right now?
Feels like it.
Jesus. Well, yeah. Alex Hupchurch, which is an amazing name, said, I've been wondering about devil fruit powers in Wano. Everyone from Wano who has them never mentions quote unquote fruits and just refers to the power as sorcery. Could it be that Kinemon and the others didn't get their powers from eating fruits, and that there is something or someone on the island who can grant devil fruit powers directly? This thing might have something to do with the original source of the devil fruit powers. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work.
What is this? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
I can't say for sure, but I'm almost positive there's a scene where Kinemon says he ate a fruit and now can do sorcery. I think he
feel
said
like
that.
you're right, and I also have nothing to back that up.
I just
You know, I
rewatched
never-
Punk Hazard and maybe.
I think
I
he
never
said that
really
in Punk Hazard.
thought about the origins of the powers of the fruits. Like up
Yeah.
until this point, like I've always just accepted that, oh, there are these fruits that give people powers, and now it's like, oh, what's creating these fruits? Like we might actually get an answer to that. It was fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that either. And that is a really good question. And it is something I'm sure Oda has the answer to in his head. Yeah, I have no idea.
I wonder if that's what attracted, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Smile is what Kaido is making, right?
Right.
Like these artificial powers. I wonder if that's what attracted him to Wano, because Wano is actually the origin of all these devil fruits. Like someone or something there are the ones that that naturally created these fruits.
I mean, I don't. So the question, I guess, also would be the sorcery devil fruit thing. Is that related to that? Maybe, maybe not. But I think that is a good question as to, maybe Kaido went to Wano for that reason. Unless Kaido's just from Wano. I mean, there's so much we don't know, as we mentioned in the other question just a few minutes ago. Let's move on to
the whole
Reddit.
One Piece. It's the issue with One Piece. Like instead of getting answers, you just get more questions.
He's very good at that. Let's move on to Reddit. Falcon Gales has questions for us. First one, based on your discussion last week on the Boichi, Dr. Stone's artist's one-shot, how would you feel if Horikoshi, the My Hero Academia mangaka, drew the Ace Blackbeard fight? I think it could have a similar feeling to the All Might All for One fight. I think that would be a really good choice for him.
I could
personally,
definitely see that.
Yeah, that's like a super. Also, we know Horikoshi is a huge One Piece fan from before he became a mangaka, because he was in Usopp's gallery, I think.
Yeah.
Way back, and so was another artist, but
The
I think
Neolation guy.
Yeah, and that series ended kind of recently, right?
I think so.
Although I had heard good things about it, and now I feel bad that I did not read it. Also, do you think Zoro will get 2 new swords by the end of the arc? I think it would be amazing if he left with an arsenal of Wado
2 new
Ichimochi,
swords.
Nidai Katetsu,
Ah.
and Enma.
The
Possible.
Sandai Katetsu have to break for that to happen?
Why would you go from 3 to 2? Isn't 3 better than 2?
No,
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
actually
Younger than 2.
2 is a higher grade.
Oh, they said that?
So, yeah.
Oh.
Then it's like
maybe.
back in Logtown, yeah.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
But then why settle for 2? Why not gun it for Katetsu
where's
1?
1? Yeah.
Where is it? We don't
I
even
want
know.
the original. It's probably on one of these graves. It's probably sitting in that room he's in.
Well, 1 probably was for like way later. Like Kaido's not the final boss. That's for like Blackbeard type of stuff.
Yeah, but maybe he'll get it now, even if he's not using it now. Like, who knows? At the end of this arc, yeah, I mean, the way sometimes it works, you get a bunch of stuff at the end of the arc. It's like a D&D or a video game kind of thing.
What, they're going to be at the party and be like, oh, by the way, Zorojiro, do you want our top of the world sword over here just on your way?
he gets the best sword, but he can't use it because it's like a Pokemon and it's too high level.
It doesn't, because the curse is too strong for him. He has to wait before he can tame it.
Yeah, like the curses have personalities, so.
I like this question from a nervous flower. After last week's discussion about the Denden Mushi, or transponder snail, whichever translation has your fancy there, I got to thinking, if you could read or watch a side story featuring one transponder snail for a day, whose would it be? And their answer is, I think it would be really interesting to follow Sabo's. You could get some behind-the-scenes info in the Revolutionary Army's movements, maybe get some tidbits about Dragon. And considering the other commanders we've been introduced to, I'm sure there would be some very interesting interactions.
I don't think I understood the question right away, but now.
Yeah. I'm glad you gave an
I'd say
example.
the golden Denmushi.
Well,
'Cause it
hopefully
just-
it doesn't get used.
The one that
I was gonna say, yeah, you don't want that
Hey,
used.
like the one day, like it only
doesn't
needs to be
talk,
one
you know.
day.
No, I want to. I want to see the smart snails now because they transform the face. I mean, that's so much fun. They turn into different people. And any other thoughts?
No.
Sounds like that. Jake M10 says, ironically, out of the Akazaya 9 we've been introduced to, my favorites have turned out to be the ones introduced in Wano. Kawamatsu, Okiku have really stepped up to the top of the ranking. Amazing characterization from Oda. Also an interesting tidbit counting Odin. The Akazaya 9 has the same amount of members as the Straw Hats.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Which I mean, I don't know. Do we know why the Akazaya 9 are the Akazaya 9? Like, were they anything about their origin? I think the answer is no.
there's like a there were, there was
They were
Yasu who
recruited
was like
by Odin,
scolding
right?
them as kids.
Right. I'm
And their
assuming
job
they
is-
were just like they were like Odin's gang, so they kind of are like the Straw Hats. It's like Luffy's crew that he assembled, Odin's
Yeah.
crew that he assembled. Yeah.
It's like the little group of misfits that Odin liked, and Yasu was like, okay, well, if you guys are gonna stick around Odin, I'm gonna let you do it, but you got to be like cool warrior badasses about it.
I love that that's the talk. Like every parent should give their talk to their kid. You got to be a cool samurai warrior badass.
You gotta be a
That's the
badass
only thing.
motherfucker.
always tell your kids, be a badass motherfucker when you go out there.
That's when you give them the sword as a child. That's
In Ringo, you give them the sword, they're a baby, and you say,
It's
now
engraved
grow
on
up
the
to
side. It's engraved
grow
on
up
the
to be a
sword.
badass motherfucker. And you get the wallet from what was it?
Yeah,
What does
Pulp
it say
Fiction.
on it? The Pulp Fiction one?
Yeah,
Ed?
It says bad
It says
motherfucker.
badass
doesn't it?
motherfucker. Perfect.
No, it says bad motherfucker.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
that's
bad
right.
motherfucker. Well, whatever. It's both good.
Same diff.
Same diff. Yeah. Bort Tolomeo says, so if the fire tank pirates are heading to Thriller Bark, that means they'll probably enter the Florian Triangle, which seems to be the case on the map they had. Do you think that Oda will finally reveal what those giant silhouettes are at the end of Thriller Bark, or do you feel it is something too important to relegate to a cover story?
If
I
they
was
go to
thinking
the
about
Florian
that.
Triangle, maybe.
Yeah, and the question remember our theory about Zunisha being like those were the four legs of his family,
Right.
like those giant shadows potentially. So maybe if Capone goes back, he sees a whole herd of giant elephants in the Florian Triangle, which would also didn't Greg say something like maybe that's why the steam is there too? It's like all the
Elephant
elephants.
farts.
Elephant farts. To be
There we
fair,
go.
that fits perfectly into the One Piece canon. Okay. Last question comes from Nivers. I like that theory, by the way, a lot. So far, I think all of our fans have been on fire. So, Nivers says, Caribou has been useful this arc, and some characters are even praising him. Does Oda listen to your
Yeah,
podcast
duh.
and doing that to troll you? The answer is yes.
God.
I was on the Caribou bandwagon since his cover story. He's getting better.
I've been on the Caribou bandwagon since Fishman Island.
Okay,
That's like
Sam, you just
being-
like
yeah.
terrible characters. Like Caesar.
Caribou is meeting my expectations.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's meeting mine too because my expectations are shit. And I just don't
He's
like
exceeding
him.
my expectations because they are rock bottom. Okay. Let's
Caribou
do
is on the list of characters I hate. I have
yes.
when people
Thank
ask me who's your favorite One Piece character, I tell them I can tell you who I hate.
Please tell
and-
me. I want to know. And give us a list of characters you hate.
Spandam
Good choice.
Yeah.
and now Caribou. I have
Is-
two on that list.
Is Absalom on that list too?
Absalom is not on that list. Absalom is
No.
just somewhere in the middle.
The
And
worst place to be.
I have to say,
Uh,
one of my favorite characters is probably Gaimon.
Well, Gaimon's great.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who doesn't like
Anyway.
Gaimon?
I feel
What
like
kind of
Gaimon and
everyone in
Sarp-
Caribou would get
Sarpon.
around.
Oh, yeah, Gaimon and Sarfunkel. That is such a good
Oh,
tag.
it's the best. It's the best setup and payoff in the entire history of storytelling.
It is, and it took like 15 years. And
I still
that's the
get
amazing thing.
shivers. I still get shivers thinking about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ed, it's time to...
Peace the tweet. Yeah.
Time for Twitter questions, comments, and theories. Ed, what do we got?
All right. First one comes from Emil Nordpol, who says, "What story purpose do you think Sabo will have in the end? While I like the guy, I always felt that Luffy having another stronger big brother somewhat weakened the impact of Ace's death."
I like
Ace is dead?
Can
Sorry.
you repeat the
Well,
question? Sorry.
he's got Ace's powers, so he's got to like, you know,
He's carrying on the will. He's
Yeah,
carrying on the
exactly.
will.
I like
Yeah.
having someone in the Revolutionaries that we know a lot about. Koala is great, but we only had like a little flashback with her. But having Sabo in there, we've seen him grow up, and we have like good motivation for him now. And it's yeah.
That's definitely the thing that differentiates Sabo from Ace. Like Ace was a fellow pirate like Luffy, but Sabo's a different story. But also Sabo is working for Luffy's dad, and yet Sabo is not Dragon's son. So like it's not.
I mean,
we're killing
I
a few
think
birds with one stone.
I've definitely come to appreciate Ace more, especially with Grant's reread. I like the. I mean, I don't know if it's been 10 years since I first read, Ace's death, but
Ace is
believe
dead.
Not in my heart. Not in my fan fiction.
But what was I gonna say? I have no freaking idea.
But as we know, hearts are flammable, so.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say now. Oh no, just that I think Sabo definitely plays a more mysterious role in the end game. Like, is he too doomed to die at the end of this? Or
No, I
not.
I think at the end of One Piece, you're gonna have like a new world government that is supposedly a better world government.
And Sabo's president?
No, but he will be one of the 5 Elder Stars.
Well, why even keep that system? Because the 5 Elder Stars seem super evil and undemocratic. And I'm for
Do you think that the end of One Piece, the whole system will be turned around? Because I feel like at the end of One Piece, that system will still continue. It's not going to be like.
But they'll let some parts of it go away. Like they're gonna they're gonna get rid of celestial dragons as a whole, which includes the 5 Elder Stars.
For sure. But the thing is this: all the issues that we've seen in the whole entire One Piece universe, all the problems, all the government problems and everything, like, I don't think the ending of One Piece will resolve that. I think the ending of One Piece will continue on to like, okay, this is where Luffy's story ends, but the world continues. The problems continue, even if it's a little bit better, if celestial dragons are not around anymore, but the system still goes. Like, this is not. I don't think One Piece is going to be something where the end is like happily ever.
I don't know.
I think the system breaks. I think Aokiji and Smoker and Kobe are like the new lead Marines. I think that.
Yeah, because something is gonna be, the system's gonna be demolished. The world government's gonna be turned around, but they can't just have anarchy. As much as some of the pirates would like it, there's got to be something there to protect people.
Yeah. So like the question is, and maybe next time we have Greg on too, we could talk a little bit about this. And Steven. But just like what is Oda's like ultimate worldview, like generally? Like, is he of a more cynical ilk, or is he super idealistic? And I tend to think he's on the more idealistic side. Yeah. As to like where humanity, like if you ask him, where do you think humanity is going to go? Like even us, here in the real world, I think he would have a very positive expectation as to that.
No, I agree with that, but I think we already see his ideal worldview. His ideal worldview is Luffy's pirate world, where it's about being free. And the thing is, I don't think, put it this way, the the ending of One Piece is probably gonna be Luffy is still being chased around by Smoker type of thing. Like it's not.
It's
they're
possible.
not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna just settle that and be like, okay, we're done, we're happily ever after now, we're friends now. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be, I'm still gonna be doing what I'm doing, which is trying to be free.
Well, I
and
think
there will
Luffy,
still be people chasing them.
No, I think the Straw Hats will, at the very least, split up in the end, and like Luffy, and they will like more or less retire. Like maybe Usopp starts his own pirate crew as a captain, but like I think
the theme of today's episode of the One Piece podcast is carrying on Will, and I think Luffy definitely needs to pass that to the next generation, and that's going to be part of it. Not that it's not going to be a Boruto, you know, he's not going to have a son and be like, here, you take the hat. I think it's going to be like he's going to see someone else that has the same spark for freedom and revolution and everything that they saw in Luffy. So I agree partially in that. Yeah, I don't think everything's going to be solved at the end perfectly, and I do think that Smoker and you know the general structures that hold the world in place might still be there in some regard. But I also think Luffy is there to break shit, and he always does. Right. If I've learned anything from One Piece, is Luffy comes in and he breaks everything,
and he will.
It's great,
and he will,
and he definitely will.
The thing is, when he breaks it, it's going to be rebuilt, and it's not going to be rebuilt into something perfect. And this is why the story won't end. There will be a next Luffy because the next government, the next system, even if it's better than the previous, will have some issues in it. Because I think Oda has accepted the fact that there will always be people who crave to be free like Luffy, and then there will always be people who always want order. Someone like Smoker, everything has to follow the rules.
Absolutely.
And this will keep going.
I mean, not to make this too real, but, you know, before the United States was the United States, we were, you know, owned by Britain in a non-democratic fashion. And we rose up and created our own country. And slowly but surely, we have become a more progressive society. But obviously, I mean, obviously, though, as you say, long way to go. And we have, you know, even though things have moved forward over the course of time, for the most part, people have risen up and tried to fight for more freedom and more equality and more rights and whatever else. And I think that would go for the One Piece story too. You know, that even as we make incremental progress, or in probably the case of the end of One Piece, some substantial progress, that there will still be a long road to go after for the next generation. I'm sure there will be a lot of work to go, even though there won't be celestial dragons with slaves, that there'll still be, you know, the issues with Fishman Island or whatever it is, and there is the allegory that we live in.
And,
exactly,
you know, suppressions and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's instead of 1620, it's 2020, and yes, of course, there's a lot of, you know, 2020 is not perfect, although we're not there yet. So maybe, who knows, we could do it in the next few months, but doubtfully. But yeah, I think it'll be the same kind of thing in the One Piece world. I think it's a super interesting thing to think about. And one day this series is going to end, and I bet you the One Piece world will still kind of exist there in both official means and also the fanfics that we all write. What's the next?
Shall I move on to the second piece, the tweet question?
Sorry, that got deep. Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Okay, Illusion No Me says, does Luffy smell like a tire since he is rubber? Maybe that's why he doesn't shower.
That went into why he doesn't shower.
Like we know this. Otis said
it smells like meat.
Yeah. Was his just meat, or was his?
Let me look this up.
Yeah.
Goofy.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll go to the next question here. Nervous Sprout says, this chapter gave me severe shoo-shoo flashbacks. Hurt animals hurt me. The Alliance and separately, the Alliance has been on quite the lucky streak these last few chapters. Is this unnerving to anyone else? We all know the plan gonna go to shit, but how?
I'm gonna say everything looks like it's coming together, and they go to Onigashima, and that's where shit takes a bad turn, because Kaido is powerful. That's my crackpot theory there.
Mm.
He just smells like meat.
Okay.
Good answer. What's next?
All right. Our very own Brian Newton, Dark King Zoro, says, Shisui is one of Zoro's best swords, so I'd hate for him to give it up unless Enma is dope. When he gets Nidai Kitetsu, both of his current swords will be at the same grade as the Wado Ichimonji, which I'm hoping Kitetsu will do an upgrade on. So,
If
Yeah.
Zoro gets new swords, then Oda has to draw them as humans again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's the answer.
Yep. Kind King 01 also brings up Jurassic Park and Futurama this week. So,
All right, I'm gonna go cry in a corner, but continue.
yeah. On a lighter note, Arch Cools says, "You ever notice how Jinbei looks similar to a Goomba? The resemblance is uncanny." And looks like you retweeted that, Zach. So.
Yeah, I think that was a really old one that came up in my feed, but I don't care. It's a great tweet.
Yeah, it's from February of last year. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it came up on my Twitter, but it's still great. And anyway, I think we have like one or two more questions on Twitter.
All right, our last question comes from David Bednar, who has questions for the whole crew here. Who else has been animals the entire time, and what animals would they be? Including the podcast host, too.
Oh, yeah, of course. We're all animals.
Also, he asks, who is the foxiest character in One Piece now? And I can't wait to read about the fox's
Foxiest.
son.
Yeah, I
Foxy.
was gonna say sorry.
Yeah.
It's still Foxy.
We already
Yeah,
have
always.
here.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to read about that fox's son, Bonimaru.
So I think it's only fair that we take the people who are not on the podcast and assign animals to them. So let's all try and figure out what animal would Steve Yurko be.
Boy.
Giraffe.
Jill just had that ready to load.
Well, then what am I? If Steve's giraffe,
A different type of giraffe.
What about Alex?
Oh yeah, what is
Oh.
Alex?
He's
Like
he's a lemur.
Oh yeah, he would be a good lemur.
They got the facial hair.
He does have facial hair. Yeah, I was thinking of
Do
like.
lemurs have facial hair?
I mean, they have fur.
I think they have hair. I think they have
all
hair on their
animals.
face.
Yeah, but they
I
have
mean,
like it's like tufted. It's cute.
Oh, like there's certain species, yeah, that have like the little mustache.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. yeah.
Okay.
It is calling Alex a cute animal. Have to say.
Better than being an ugly animal. I mean,
That's true. No one wants to be that. Who else isn't here?
Well, Steven's username is Translatosaurus, so
Oh, well,
I'm
obvious.
assume.
Oh my
But what
god.
kind? What kind of dinosaur?
A Tyrannosaurus?
mm,
Or an Allosaurus?
We already have
It has
that.
to be something
Yeah.
with a saurus, obviously.
The Thesaurus.
Stegosaurus.
A thesaurus? Did you say a thesaurus?
That's very.
Hey.
Maddie won this round.
That's our official answer. Thesaurus.
That's it. He's a thesaurus.
We send the group like the big list of like, okay, we think tank to hear all your animal names, and they all get to just see Steven Thesaurus.
I just like the idea of Steven as an actual Tyrannosaurus, but giving like with his normal voice, just talking about translation choices. Just being like, well, in this chapter, I decided to, and just as a Tyrannosaurus.
Just
saying,
very calm, very collected, very
Yeah.
intelligent.
yeah,
Tyrannosaurus sitting at a computer with his little hands and
yeah,
Trying to.
trying to type with the little hands. Oh my god, what an amazing idea! That should. If Steven needs a new avatar, and that needs to be it. Who else? Everyone else. Brian. What is Brian? What kind of animal?
Like something that is like asleep. Always.
he's a poodle.
A poodle.
A panda? I'm trying to like think of what's asleep all the time. Why
Like
is he
a
asleep all
koala.
the time?
Koala.
Koalas sleep like 23 hours a day, don't they?
Wait, does Brian sleep a lot?
Yeah, I don't
He's,
know.
he's just very sleepy.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't know this either. You mean his like affectation?
I think so. I think this is just how Steve always describes him. Like I haven't met him either, but I
So
think Steve's like he's
third
just very
hand,
sleepy.
third hand, he seems very sleepy. Okay.
He was like sleepwalking through the back of your wedding rehearsal.
He was not sleepwalking. He was
He
doing
was lost in the. He was lost.
It was
in
a
a
maze. He was lost.
yeah.
He's Zoro. I mean, but that's not really an animal. That's more of just he's Zoro, and
So he's lost and he's sleepy. So yeah.
Yeah. Wait, but what's the most politically active animal?
A human.
Look,
She's
good
got you there,
answer,
Zach.
and shut up.
Probably some kind of like ape. I mean, they
Man,
have probably the most like government like structures.
Ants. Ants.
Ants.
Ants
What
are
are
the
you talking
most
about now?
political
I
animal.
don't know, still, Brian.
Who's political?
This went in a weird direction. So, now that all that piece together is done, why don't we round off the show?
okay.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 584 for Sunday, August 25th, 2019. Good episode today, everyone. Just to remind everyone, please check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. Help support us. See alternate drawings from Maddie, who's back now as our official artist. She kicked that Steve out. No, I thanks Steve so much for all of his really hard work over the last. How long have you been in Japan?
7 months.
7 months. Really crazy.
Feels like yesterday.
I
think-
know. It
yeah.
went really fast.
It did go really fast. And like when you're describing coming home too, it was like, oh, it's like she was on a really long vacation because you're getting all the same feelings that we got after we left.
Yeah.
Sadness, depression, more depression. So yeah, welcome back, Maddie.
Thanks.
We hope you enjoy this this country that has significantly less Sanji in it. But you as we said, the real Sanji is in your heart.
And also in my suitcase.
That sounds dark.
Ooh.
Yeah, that does sound kind of dark. Maddie, where can people find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at Oh That's Raspberry, and I also just relaunched my Patreon. So you can find that at patreon.com/Maddie's Art Club. I give out sticker sheets and postcards every month, and September's theme is Link's Awakening. So if you're interested, please check it out.
Thank you, Maddie. And please subscribe to her Patreon too. If you subscribe to ours, you also are contractually obligated to subscribe to Maddie's. I think that's how that works. Anyway, Sam, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. They can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece and Black Clover. And they can find me on the One Piece podcast every week doing the anime recaps.
Jill.
You can find me at Pirates Unluck on Twitter. I currently have a thread where I'm going through the Sunny route for the where I watch all of One Piece and hopefully end on October 20th for the 20th anniversary. I just finished the last episode of Dressrosa, so we got Zoe next. Excited.
Yeah, Zoe's great. I love Zoe. Also, congratulations on the new job.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully I'll be able to do more now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have more Jill. So that's great. And Ben, where could people find you?
I'm on Twitter as E1N. It's a simple name. So if anyone wants to say hi, just at me there and we'll have a chat. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah. And he does amazing work. He's on Big Hero 6, as we discussed, I think, a little bit earlier. And also, is your One Piece art available anywhere?
all of my One Piece art is still on DeviantArt. I have not touched my DeviantArt since 2013, but they're all still there.
So please check that out. It's all super amazing if you have
Same
not
thing.
seen it yet. Yeah.
E1N.DeviantArt, which I haven't. I've back so.
Yeah, and hope to have you on again soon. It was a lot of fun and
Yeah.
really insightful comments from your end there. So yeah, and hopefully the internet is more cooperative next
Yes, let's hope so. Sorry about all the disruptions.
time. No, don't worry about it. Al Gore will fix it next time. Ed, how could the good people out there contact us?
Well, you are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E1 Piece. I'm also at Weeb Trailers. You can check that out. The podcast can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is the email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. Please support us, Patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Spotify, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And that phone number is 347-497-MAGI.
Maji.
Again, that phone number is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your, with your questions, comments, theories, or reasons why it's heroic to be a grave robber. So we're gonna do a little bit of trivia, which I know is everyone's favorite segment here. Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Great. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the same thing we did last week, and for those who were not here last week, I will explain what that is. You guys are gonna pick a number. It's gonna be a number from 1 to 953, and I will ask you a trivia about the corresponding chapter. And the more recent it is, the more difficult the question probably will be, just because, if you pick this week's chapter, I'm going to find the most difficult thing I can. If you pick early chapter that we haven't discussed in forever, I'll make it a little easier. First person to get to 3 wins. If you cannot get it, everyone else has a chance to steal in the order that I am going to list right now. Let's do the same order we did the manga recap. So it's going to be Ed, then Sam, then Maddie, and then Jill. So you guys got it?
Yep.
Perfect.
Sure.
Ed, pick a number from 1 to 953.
Okay. 420.
420. And the great thing about, of course, and the great thing about this is I have to make up the question on the spot, so it's also a quiz for me. Okay, let's see what we could do here. And also my brain is not working right now. So this will be fun. This will be fun.
How did this format come to be?
It's great.
He came up with it.
Wow.
I have problems.
It's new as of last week.
No,
Or
right.
2 weeks
I
ago?
did it a little while back before that. Okay. Please name let's see if I can even the 5 vice admirals that show up at the end of this chapter.
Okay, that would be Onigumo, Doberman, Yamakaji, Strawberry, and Momonga.
Wow.
The 5 vice admirals of the Buster Call, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yes.
Wow.
That was very impressive.
I'm not
Sam.
going to do well in this.
I'm
trivia.
not
no,
good with voice actors.
No,
That's
they're all-
I don't know. That's
They're going to be
I-
different
I-
questions
I've
for
known a
different
long time.
people. They're all going to be different types of questions. Sam, go ahead. Pick a
All
number.
right, let's
1
give
to
this random
953.
number generator thing a shot for real. 1.
I hate you so much. Okay, let's go to chapter 1.
This is the easiest question since it's the farthest back.
What's the main character's name? No, not necessarily. Let's see what we got here. It is also a longer chapter. Can I make this difficult? Because this is such an iconic freaking chapter. Like every little thing is. Okay, I'm just reading through this, and Ben Beckman saying this is the original Viz, obviously not up to par with the current Viz. Stop whining, landlubbers. You're not dealing with saints here. I'm sorry, I just had to read that.
Was that a question?
No. Okay. What is the attack that Luffy uses against the sea monster at the end?
Gum Gum Pistol?
Yeah. I just wanted. Okay. Apparently that was easier than I. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know why that was going to be a hard one.
No, I didn't say it was going to be hard. It just I was
Oh.
trying to think of something like kind of. I'm under time constraints here, guys. Anyway, Maddie, pick a number.
390.
390. Also, the first rounds of questions are usually a little easier, or I try and make them slightly easier. Okay. Let's see what we got. Oh. What can I use here? Okay. The iconic pose at the end of this chapter is in what One Piece opening?
Oh.
The iconic lofty pose.
Oh gosh, I'm.
A perched the top of something.
Yeah, you can just keep saying stuff. I don't think it's gonna help.
Okay.
Let's see. Share the world.
No. Jill.
Bon voyage.
Nope. Ed.
Brand New World?
Yes. So
Alright.
close, Maddie. So close.
What was the chapter number?
390. That's the
Yeah,
end.
'cause
It's
that would have
that-
been like not,
it's on
not
top of the
too long
tower.
before the chapter I asked for.
Yeah, that's true. You said 420. I remember that. Jill. Pick a number. And it can't be 420 since I picked that already.
I think I picked that when we were doing the Beaver card stuff.
Oh, yeah, you definitely did.
653.
653. So you've been rewatching, so this should.
Yeah,
anything,
but you
this should
assume
be
I know
easier.
which chapters are which arcs, which is not true.
Okay. I'll give you a bonus point for this. This is going to be the actual question. What hairstyle does Frankie have in this chapter?
653.
Yeah, I'll give you a bonus point if you get this.
Oh, let's just randomly. Well, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's
for
it's
it.
the
Wait, can I
beetle.
try-
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Were you gonna say that?
No. I mean, yes.
I was. I knew it.
Okay. This chapter has a lot of information in it. Okay. What is the promise that Luffy makes with Shirahoshi, your favorite character, in this chapter?
Oh, he's gonna take her to go see a real forest above ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Ed, pick a number.
690.
And we're gonna get slightly harder here. I'm gonna try.
Yee.
690, which is not weed related for some reason.
It's
all
the
right.
sex number.
Kind of. It's like a okay.
Times 10.
Wow.
It's a little too intense for me.
It's like that's like a New Jack Swing group, sex times 10.
Anyway, at the end,
They're opening for Boys to Men.
by the way, you guys are picking the most either every chapter of One Piece is iconic, which might be true, or
Yeah.
you're picking the most iconic chapters.
I think it's the former.
At the end of this chapter, as the gears turn, we see these faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you can name 6 of them, you will get a point.
Oh my god. Wow.
If you name all 8, I will give you 2, which means you will Ed, you win if you get this.
I
And
already
you
got
extra.
I've got 2 already, yeah.
If you get all 8, you
fuck.
get 2 points. But if you get 6 of them, you get 1 point. You need 1 point to win.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ed.
I really don't know. I don't know. Luffy, Law, Smoker, Virgo, Monet.
Nope, you're naming
Caesar.
a bunch of random
I don't know.
people now. Nope.
That's
Sam.
like, is that like Punk Hazard?
Yeah. So you've got Kid, Law, or wait, no, Kid, Shanks. Do you get a little bit of Big Mom and Kaido?
You're thinking of the wrong thing.
Oh, am I?
Mm-hmm. Maddie.
No, I have no idea.
It's close though. No, you don't want to guess?
No, I'm good.
Chill.
I know.
Kid, Luffy, Law, Apu, Hawkins, Drake. I don't know.
Okay, you got the closest. You
Blackbeard.
got 5. So I'm gonna give it to Jill because
Hey.
everyone else guessed. The ones you were missing. So it was Kid, Hawkins, Apu, which was very good poll there. Law, Luffy, Doflamingo, Caesar, and Big Mom.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's when he cuts the thing in the mountain in half and he talks about the gears turning. It's the very end of volume 69,
That's
I
right.
think. Yeah.
When he says I
Um,
broke the gear.
Yeah, he says that war was nothing more than a prologue, that whole thing. Okay. Where are we up to? Sam. By the way, the score right now, Ed 2, Sam 1, Maddie 0, Jill 2, 3 to win, remember. Sam.
All right, I'll do the random number for real this time.
1. Yeah, I don't believe
140.
what you were saying.
140.
Okay. Ooh. I was actually just looking at these recently. Okay. What can we do here? Oh. This is the reason why Chopper kept the door open.
Because there's a nest of baby birds on top of it.
Yeah, nice, Sam. Nice. That was really crazy that you got that. It's like,
I
remember.
I mean,
I
if
thought
you
that
watch
was too
if you watch
ambiguous.
Chopper's, like, that's right before Chopper's flashback.
Yeah,
starts,
but
I
this
think,
also
so-
happened like 20 years ago in the manga.
Those are episodes I watch a lot.
Yeah, that's a very
I
good.
knew
It's
that
very
one.
good. Okay, fine. Whatever, all you guys. Maddie, pick a number.
173.
173. Here we go. Let's see what this chapter is. Okay. The name of this chapter is the animal that we as the One Piece podcast are a huge fan of. That is definitely the threat that is threatening the crew in this chapter. It's both the name of the chapter and heavily featured in the chapter, and it's a very large animal. And it eats something important. And I'll leave it there.
Wow, I'm bad at this.
Jill, do you want to give it a shot?
Whale?
Nope. Ed, do you want to give it a shot?
Banana Gator.
Yep.
Oh, that
Um,
makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense. It's so easy now that I know the answer.
So Ed is our winner this week. That was a really close one, though.
Nice.
Sorry, Maddie.
That's okay.
Who I feel like I have tortured personally. Thank you guys. Really fun episode today. I learned a lot. And thank you all for I did. And I was thinking about the end of One Piece in a way I've never actually thought about it before. So that's fun. And coming up next week on the One Piece podcast, we have Abby Denton, comedian and One Piece fan. She's coming on. After that, we have the My Hero Academia podcast girls. They'll be on. Jeff Ruberg, then Greg, then God's Will. That's not all the same week. Those are the succeeding weeks after that. And we'll be coming out with some October guest announcements in the next few days, hopefully, as well as a Patreon episode that I have been just delaying because my life has been a hectic mess. But we'll see you next week, everyone, as we talk about 954 and what will happen to the fox dog. All that and more next week. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.